This is the Volkswagen Tiguan 3rd generation, and it looks like it's their most futuristic model yet. So in this video today, and in the short time I have with the car, here's a few things you guys need to know. Now, since the Volkswagen Tiguan first launched back in 2007, it's been one of their most popular models, and recently with over 1.2 million sold in the last 2 years alone. So starting on the exterior, Volkswagen do have another model called the Touareg, which is the larger one of the two, but with these new updates on the Tiguan shown here, now shares some design features. So for starts, it's higher than before, but still maintaining great aerodynamic properties. Shown here with the LED light bar on the front, I do hope this comes to the UK when it launches early next year. Speaking of light bars, the design has even continued to the rear with the LED strip and even finished off with the small rectangular 3D lights. And just before jumping into the boot, here's the dimensions. So length is 4,539mm, that's 30mm more than before. Width is exactly the same at 1,842mm, so you have the same room kind of either side in the car park when you get out. And the height is slightly higher, 4mm more than before, so this now stands at 1,639mm. But more on that in a second. Which of course brings me neatly onto the boot, and it's huge. How does 652 litres sound? That's 37 litres more than before. And as it's an SUV, headroom is incredible now, and if you remember the stat a moment ago where the height of the car was 4mm more, somehow Volkswagen have managed to do some trickery and increase the headroom at the front by an additional 9mm, and the rear an extra 10mm, so there's loads of extra space. So, subtle changes on the outside, but what about on the inside, where all the kind of good stuff is up front? Well, this is where some of the big changes have happened. Take a look at this, and for context, look at the previous model, and now look at the new one. Massive updates on your experience inside when you drive it day to day. For one, of course, with the massive showstopper, the screen here, which is huge, but take a closer look at the steering wheel. It has physical buttons. Now, I'm a huge fan of both concepts, the sleek design of a flat surface with buttons, but I do appreciate the traditional physical buttons, especially when driving a car. The gear stick in the middle is gone, and now on the top right hand corner of the steering wheel on one of the stalks, just like the Volkswagen's ID all-electric range. And the gear stick has been replaced in the middle by a thing called the driving experience switch. Now, from the looks of it, it allows you to change the drive mode, or if you always keep it in the same mode, you can control the volume and among other things as well. Pretty nice that you can customize it. Oh, and I'm loving the ambient lighting with all these new atmospheric modes. And finally, of course, the grand masterpiece, the massive multimedia screen in the middle. It's huge, which is great. Of course, a larger surface area to control and easy to use with touchscreen. It features either a 12.9-inch display and 15-inch display screen sizes, but of course double check with your local Volkswagen when the specs come out soon. And of course the thing called App Connect, which you can use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto if you're familiar with those. Now, one very quick last thing, and one thing I noticed, it even features some very clever tech automations. So, for example, if the temperature outside gets really cold, you can have your heated seat come on automatically at a predetermined threshold. Cars are getting very clever these days. So hopefully I can cover more of that in a future video and check out the multimedia system in depth. But up next, what about the engines available? Well, as always, this could possibly vary around the world, so double check next year when it's out. But at launch, it looks like there's 2 plug-in hybrids with varying horsepowers, and most importantly, ranges up to 100 kilometers, which translates to around 60 miles. There's a couple of mild hybrid engines which assist the engine and work in the background, and then there's 2 petrol and 2 diesel engines, both 2 litre, so loads to choose from. Of course, it's up to you which one you go for, but hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on one in the future, and I can explain a little bit more about how this tech works in these new models. But there we go, guys, that is the new Volkswagen Tiguan 2024 first impressions. So there we have it, guys. This is just a quick video on the Volkswagen Tiguan. Now, of course, I'm curious to see what you guys think down below. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think on this new model. I've got to say, it's super futuristic inside. So, if you want to check out any more Volkswagen content I've done, click this pop-out banner right here, as that one's going to take you to all the Volkswagen stuff I've done on my channel. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.